So now only that one roommate can see my Facebook story. It makes me so happy.
Beautiful.
That's perfect. That's fantastic.
It is.
What did you say, by the way? I'm so sorry.
I said I was coming in. I probably should have knocked.
Fishy!
Out.
Up.
Really got a fish!
Alrighty.
Yeah.
So I've started the recording officially. I'm waiting for YouTube to catch
Don't
up.
shake it.
I don't want to shake it. That's terrible.
Who said you officially start
Don't
recording?
shake
I was
Aaron?
making a Nemo reference.
No.
Darla.
Also, I just opened up my Twitter for the first time in literally a year, and it wants me to follow Donald Trump.
I can see the dust. And Brower, get the fuck out of here.
Bye, Brower.
Get the fuck out, Brower. No one wants you here.
God, you scared me.
Sorry. I realize I should probably take the pic, but he's cool, right?
Yes,
Oh.
yes.
Nobody wants Brower's thick special sauce,
No.
If I need to come in here for an
Just no.
but it's Alfredo.
It's a.
I don't want Brower's Alfredo.
Ew. I just saw
But
something wrong. I'm
But
just
it's spicy.
I'm very happy about
Spicy Alfredo. Do you want Brower's spicy Alfredo?
it. No.
I'll mail it to you.
To your P.O. box.
Ooh.
Just send me an electronic letter so I know you want it.
Just send me the request over MySpace.
Oh my god.
That was
Now, if
the
you want to talk
thing.
about outdated social media,
At least I still have you, Tom.
Fuck.
did you say Utah or YouTube?
All right.
Tom.
Yeah,
I
he
was
said
making
you,
a- I was
Tom.
making a reference involving a woodwind
Okay, that
instrument,
makes more
but
sense.
it's fine.
Solomon, were you gonna say something?
Yeah. So we are live. We've been live for a minute on YouTube as well, and I'm just sharing everywhere.
Potato.
I will point out that I've named this episode already. It is called The Avengers.
Don't assemble.
Ellipses. Still trying to assemble.
That's about right.
No.
That's about right.
Solomon, you just do Avengers. Snapped.
Ha!
Oh,
No, it's not dead yet, homie. So we're squares. Oh,
We'll get there.
I need a.
Yeah, no, the moment we tried to do a production, Thanos just like, no.
Right.
yeah. See, can for the intro to this, can we have the Avengers theme, but have it be in like that terrible like kazoo play?
Yes.
You're a horrible person, and you should feel bad. Oh dear.
The fuck
So,
out of here, Donald.
So let's get the introductions out of the way because
Yeah.
this is a whole new episode and a whole new production that we're running with here. Because for the audio listeners, to my left, because you can totally see that. To my left, we have Aaron Bryant, creator.
Ha!
Yeah, he's a creator of Thor again. I'm your host, Aaron S., founder of Pseudo, just to run with that. To my right, there's my hand. We have Maurl. She's a teacher, among other things. Bottom left, we have Sam. She's a sassy bitch who plays with reptiles for a living.
Yes.
Bottom
That's
center,
very
we have
accurate.
the self-hating fuck-ass known as Tyler, who doesn't give himself enough credit for trying so hard every day on doing good shit. And I almost dropped my glass.
I am also-
Wow, that was so accurate, though.
It really is. Like this
It's
morning,
so accurate.
I was playing a game with him, and he literally just nonstop verbally abused himself. I'm like, Tyler, you need to stop.
Well, I wasn't
And
just
to
verbally
the
abusing
bottom
myself.
right, before we get to the
Yeah.
therapy session with
I'll get
Tyler,
into it.
is the all-talented introvert genius, Will Martin. Great for
That was
it.
a-
Now back to Tyler flagellating himself.
Oh, bless.
I like just the casual bow of just like, yep,
Yep, that's me.
Right.
here I am. This is how that was great. All right, we're fine.
This is the way.
This is the way.
This is the way,
Oh,
brother.
I,
Outdated memes.
I love.
Become fake queen.
No. It's time to stop.
I have spoken.
Oh my god! You know, I'm surprised that that Ugandan Knuckles didn't make a comeback with COVID. You would have thought that would have been perfect.
I'm surprised.
It had a very small resurgence, but it hasn't gained as much traction as you would hope.
Corona.
We must not spread the COVID. We must spread the
Stay
Ebola.
inside. This is the way.
You must have Corona to know the way.
What the
Oh,
fuck was
wait.
that?
Oh, that's the kazoo.
That
I was like,
sounds-
what the hell is that?
Why
Who
is,
angered a goose?
why is there a kazoo in this stream? Like,
That's fun.
I was dead ass looking for that goose.
who brought the kazoo?
Do you actually have a kazoo? Wait a minute. Do you really have a kazoo?
I have a harmonica.
Will, I know it's you with that smirk on your face. Do you actually have a kazoo or
You
what?
can't hide shit.
I mean,
Will's not home right now. He does not have a kazoo.
yeah, listen, where I am not does not impact how much or how little I have a kazoo on me.
Yes, it does.
Honestly-
I know you.
Get the fuck out of the Motel
You don't
6.
know me. You don't know what woodwind instruments I own.
Well,
Wait, a kazoo
A
is a
kazoo-
woodwind?
are we
not
really
a
gonna go through
wind.
this?
It's a plastic.
It's
Wait.
a
I
plastic.
don't know if I would qualify.
You don't know
that.
how many woodwind kazoos I own or
Do you
don't.
call your dick plastic?
Wait, is that a thing?
Wait, is there okay?
Woodwind
Serious question.
kazoo.
Are there woodwind kazoos?
I
Probably.
guarantee there are woodwind kazoos.
I'm
Yeah.
googling it. Hold
Luxury
on. I'm Googling.
wooden kazoo.
Guarantee
$40
there are
on
woodwind
Etsy.
kazoos.
$40
You know
on
what?
Etsy for this shit.
40?
Legitimately, the level of shit lordery that I've seen, that doesn't surprise me.
Here we go. Woodwind luxury wooden kazoos, $40.
Well, you know
I
what's
just
worse?
said that.
People pay for it.
Will, do you have me
Solomon
muted?
did literally just say that.
Yeah. So did you?
I
mute-
wasn't paying attention.
Son of a bitch.
Well,
That does not
then
surprise
Oh,
me.
that's
Screw
not
you
that
too.
different.
Okay, I need to know the history of kazoos now. Like,
All I've got is that the kazoo is an American musical instrument, adding a buzzing timbral quality to a player's voice when the player vocalizes or hums into it. But
Okay,
it
I've
doesn't
got-
say anything about it actually being a
no.
woodwind
I
instrument.
have a history.
Just because it's made of wood does not mean that it's a woodwind.
I have history here, and we know it's not a real instrument. You'll see why. The kazoo was invented in the 1840s and first presented to the world at the Georgia State Fair in 1852 as the Down South Submarine.
Yep, it's Georgia. It ain't real.
Goddamn Georgia!
Yeah, here we go.
Welcome to the P2
No, no, no.
podcast where we
Guys.
discuss the history of the kazoo.
No. And there's
Also, fuck Georgia.
But here's a positive race relation. Legend tells us that the kazoo was invented by a collaboration of Alabama
Legend
Vest,
says, in the
There's more.
time before time,
There's a lore.
The legend of the kazoo.
It was
long
invented.
ago in a
That's a Jack
distant
Black
I'm
land.
movie.
not drunk yet. Let me get this out. Invented by the collaboration of Alabama Vest, an American black, and Thaddeus von Clegg, a German-American clockmaker.
Ooh.
Thaddeus von Clan.
Now back to what Will was saying, because he was making an important point. In ages past, an ancient kazoo-wielding warrior.
Long ago in a distant land, I, kazoo.
Hi, kazoo!
No,
Unleashed
don't go
an
there.
Kazoo warrior.
unspeakable woodwind instrument.
No, don't go there.
I used the kazoo to open a portal.
And now he travels through time playing shitty music, trying to get back.
To undo the future that is kazoo.
Kazoo.
Kazoo a Jack. Kazoo a Jack.
Okay, can I just point out that
Somebody get Mark on the phone.
Maurl has been in the top right of the screen, just straight-faced deadpan this whole time. Like she has
Ow!
no idea what's going on right now, or she has muted all of us.
No, I'm hearing every word. I just don't find it funny.
She's
What?
not.
You've never watched Samurai Jack, have you?
Just hanging out on
Let's
unrelatable.
remember how I grew up and my childhood and what I
She-
had access to and what I simply wasn't allowed to
She-
watch.
she did-
Is Samurai Jack considered anime? No, well, it is a cartoon, and it is Japanese. You know, those Japanese cartoons are known for their porn. You can't watch Samurai Jack, Laura.
Wait.
Or Sailor Moon.
Gendy
Or Dragon Ball.
Tartakovsky?
Or Pokemon.
But Gendy Tartakovsky is a Russian
I am
American.
so sorry for your childhood.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Gendy Tartakovsky is.
I am sorry.
I'd like to point out that the argument, and we both know I'm pandering to the joke right now, not to mock your upbringing, but Gendy Tartakovsky is a Russian American. He's so white he couldn't smell like sushi if he tried.
Oof.
Yeah.
Listen, he's so white, he disappears in the sun.
Like, no, like, please understand.
He can't be attracted in the snow.
He could soak himself in soy sauce, like be in a bath of soy sauce that he could taste the soy sauce through his testicles, and he still would be too white for the argument of your parents to be anywhere near valid. Like, he is up to his chin.
No. You don't understand. My parents are never valid.
That's fair.
We're talking about something important. Your parents are invalid.
Wait, if her parents were invalid, how did they have her?
Sam looks around the corner.
I don't know.
I love
Man,
I didn't say invalid. I said invalid.
Look
There
up
is
the kazoo
strong
and then-
linguistic difference here because of the pronunciation
Sam,
and
mute yourself.
stress on different syllables.
Sam, mute yourself.
But they're three-fingered and gray.
Sam,
Tyler, can you see Billy behind me?
we all
Yeah.
can see Billy behind him.
Yeah.
He has alien fingers.
Roger?
Thank you.
Good job,
You
Billy.
have alien fingers.
They
Tyler said
were.
Roger question mark.
Although I did think about that. I
did.
did actually think about
Okay,
that.
Billy,
You're
I'm
perfect, Roger.
Okay.
You're great,
Your
darling.
cosplay.
Okay,
Oh,
Billy, I'm
Now he wants to
concerned.
do one. Okay,
wait.
that's fine.
I will mute
What?
all of you. I will mute all of you. Okay,
Before.
Billy,
But no, all I need is my
Billy.
head tomorrow.
tell Billy,
Billy.
shut the fuck.
Billy.
If you're gonna want to add something to the podcast, get on the mic and add something to the podcast. Don't be a garbling mess, please.
If you
Billy, I'm concerned that those fingers
talk
aren't
into your
inside of you.
microphone, you're going to say something, Billy.
What? No, I was saying this was for my King Shark cosplay from the Harley Quinn show. All I need is
That's a good one.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Please.
Now be
But I
gone!
did eventually plan on doing a Roger cosplay.
Why are you still talking?
Because it's Billy, and you know he doesn't know how to shut up.
Then mute your mic until you kick his ass out of the room. I can only play gods for so long.
Very loud because you're not speaking into your own microphone.
I will mute you, Sammy, and I don't want to.
I'm sorry.
That's why
See,
you
this
are
is why we
here.
didn't want you here, Billy.
Okay,
Get
I'm muting you
out.
until Billy leaves
Get
the
out,
screen.
Billy.
Heartless person, I'll move.
Okay, you're muted until Billy leaves the screen.
Get out of here, Mother William.
Like she's ex-nayed from the conversation say until Billy leaves the screen. That way I know I don't
Be
have.
gone, thought!
Goddamn William.
There goes Thoughtalisk and his 6 fingers.
Hey, don't insult Thalos like that.
No. Didn't we have a thought for that sexual lizard? Like an ideal like person to play
A
that role?
thought for a thought.
Did we?
I'm confused by what you mean, thought.
Fuck out of here, Billy.
I thought we had someone that we had like positively in mind to play that
Oh,
sexual.
it was Chris Lopez, because when he did the female version of Stay Alive,
Yeah.
it sounded very androgynous.
Yes. Okay, he's
And the whole point of Thoughtalisk is to be an androgynous prostitute.
Welcome back,
It is a
Sammy.
lizard.
You're unmuted.
I
I
kind
was
of
going
want
to say, Evan's about to write a note like, he's gone, can I come back now?
I was checking the screen.
He was
I
also
kinda wanna
trying to
play
flick
a
off the
slut
screen
now.
with the weird alien hands.
I want
We
you.
were ignoring him.
I want you here, Sam, but I want quality vocals, please. And if Billy wants to be in the podcast, he can do that. Just not this one because we have our Avengers cast and all of their glory
That's
of
fair.
still trying to assemble.
Avenge.
Also, yes.
Here, I'll turn up the kazoo.
In this particular case, I'm actually not one of the Avengers anymore.
No, you're not.
I
Oh,
play a
that's right.
Russian dude, I play an attendant, I play the narrator, and I play Loki. I'm not one of the Avengers assembling anymore.
All right, I guess I'm gonna have to kick you then.
Removed.
Wreck.
Depends on how much people like Loki, man.
Yes.
They like Loki a lot.
The answer is yes.
technically an
Okay,
Avenger.
okay.
Exactly.
Here's a good
By
question.
technicality.
So who is? All right, I think I can actually get a good listing of this. I have 2 right now. I need to think of a third one, but I can go off the top. So the real question is, who is the most sexualized Avenger, like at least MCU character? And the 2 that I have in contention in my mind right now from following Tumblr a bit is Bucky or Loki.
I think it's Thor.
Cap is up there. He is
Yeah.
I was
America's
going to say
ass.
Cap's up there because they make the America's ass joke so many times.
So many times.
Everyone is gay for America.
No one's gay for America
No.
anymore.
Just Steve
Not
Rogers.
anymore. Not anymore.
Well,
I mean, not even Steve's gay for America anymore.
Mm. He's
yeah.
gay
I
for
don't know.
the
I
idea
felt
of
that
America.
Loki's more sexualized than Bucky. It's kind of for 2 reasons. I have 2 reasonings to my opinion here. One is that Loki is a very classical character that has been around for literal hundreds of years, right? So he is a classical character that was taken from mythology that and people already liked him, right? And then you made Tom Hiddleston Loki, who was already a beloved actor.
True.
So, with those 2 things combined, the popularness of Loki in the movies itself, plus the Loki's prior popularity, Bucky's just not an established character, and for a good part of the series, you think he's dead. So,
there's a lot of
I just don't think
emotional
he's had
roller
the
coaster.
time to grow that same momentum.
Yeah, there's a lot of emotional roller coaster with him in the MCU.
Oh, I thought we were talking about like how sexualized they were on screen.
Yeah.
Oh,
He
I was,
mentioned Tumblr.
I was,
Well,
I
that was
Tumblr?
was,
Thor,
Twitter?
man.
I was referencing like.
Listen, if we're talking about Tumblr, then it's definitely Loki.
Yeah, there's no doubt it's Loki. There's no fucking competition whatsoever. I mean, people may want to fucky Bucky, but it's Loki.
Fuck you,
He
Bucky.
does go both ways.
They want
And is
Bucky.
a strong advocate of bestiality.
Thank you, Mickey. Is that where we're going? Down
Wait,
on that one?
what? I'm so confused. What happened?
He turned into a horse, who was also the female.
Will
Oh, right.
saw
Loki.
the chance to take the topic off of a cliff and he dived.
Yeah. No, I pushed it off the cliff and then laughed. Ways.
Why don't we take the
You
conversation
child dragged it up.
and
Why don't
push
we
it
go-
over here?
Why don't we take the topic and push it somewhere else?
But the topic,
Oh,
it's
dear.
big, hairy, and pink.
Oh my.
It's an Alaskan bulwark. and that was the first reference
This is horrible.
children heard.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
That wasn't a
good.
reference, right? Like I'm not crazy
No.
there.
Good job, SpongeBob. You're somehow still topical.
Because it was
No.
a good show.
No, you don't understand. So I've had a new hire that I trained this past month, and he's only like 2 years younger than me, I think. And one thing that we relate on consistently is SpongeBob references. Like, just callbacks or things that like, yeah, no, that episode, or like quotations that just relate to work somehow. And it's like, I did not know this is how I was going to connect with the Zoomer, but here we are.
Please tell me y'all sang the Krusty Krab pizza song.
I think we did. I know I did.
I know I did.
Hey, I know where my priorities are. I'm surprised no one's singing it yet, actually.
Is mayonnaise in it?
I don't know it.
Krusty Krab pizza is the pizza absolutely.
Krusty
Krab pizza is the pizza for you and me. It's the Krusty Krab pizza. Is the pizza, yeah, for you and me.
That's pretty good.
It's so beautiful.
Pretty much it.
Oh, my child. Oh, my child.
Just like
Big Colin Payne for a high five.
Oh.
Oh. Woohoo! Yeah.
I don't know where you fucking are.
It's like you're swatting at a bug.
Flails arm around inconsistently.
I'm somewhere.
You'll get that high five eventually.
I find you somehow, damn it.
Eventually.
If you flail hard enough, eventually someone will high five you.
Dude,
Speaking of singing, I did One Last Hope, which is Phil's song from Hercules.
you did sound like Danny DeVito.
And I apparently channeled the spirit of DeVito.
You the
which,
trick me.
That
You throw garbage around and you eat it.
you're definitely shirtless enough.
Right.
So anyway, I started taking my shirt off.
I wanna see Aaron like crawl out like some kind of crevice, like covered in some kind of purifying gel, and he just says, "I just wanted to be pure."
Oh no! 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 No!
Oh no!
Am I the only one who watches It's Always Sunny in here?
Probably.
It's been a minute.
I've seen a bunch of the episodes.
There's a lot that happens in that
I
show.
don't read comedic scripts well, so watching It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, not computable for me.
You know, that would be a good like video, because I would want to see you react to that.
Oh, I'm just prompting you and Aaron to just tell that story on the podcast because
Wait, which story?
the first
The
time
dramatic one.
the first time I
Okay.
read the Thorgan episode 1 script.
So to give perspective, like 2 years ago, Tyler and I wrote the script for Thorgan, and it's a adventure comedy in like space.
Mhm.
So you know the tone is very
Very comical, very lighthearted.
like lighthearted, it's
And
whimsical, you know, and very, very vicious. Like half of the comedy is physical humor in that we're literally like ripping people apart, but doing it in unique and funny ways. So we're talking to Solomon after we did, I think it was our second or third rewrite, because we wanted him to check for like plot consistency and whatnot, because he's pretty good at that. And he's reading through it, and he's making these weird comments as I'm working on it with him, and I'm like, I don't understand where he's going with this, but you know, I trust him. And he's like, I need to go to bed soon. I'll read this, you know, later. And he tells me later that he read it, and he came to us with the perspective that, you know, I don't see Thorgan being this shining golden god. And I'm like, wait, hold on. Are you taking this seriously? And he's like, what do you mean? It's a drama, right? It's like an adventure drama. And I'm like,
Well,
wait. No. Let me paint you a picture of why that's fucking stupid. There is a line where there is a mech in front of the main character, and he goes, I'm gonna name you Smashy. Come here, Smashy. And he tears the arm off, and he's like, Smashy, no! This is why I can't have pets! And then he yeets the arm back at the robot, killing the person inside, and then he just goes into the no! And he took that seriously. As high drama.
read it as
Absolutely Shakespearean.
or no. Here's the better part. That was a good one, but like, it's like
I feel like
he also ripped a soldier's arms off. No, hold up. He ripped the soldier's arms off, beating this soldier with his arms. Like, why are you hitting yourself? Why are you hitting yourself?
I did laugh out loud at that when I read it. I did laugh out loud when I read it.
That's funny.
But still thought it was under the veil of a drama.
Dramatic. That's hilarious.
Alas, poor
I-
Smashy.
I-
I knew him, Horatio. Was a fellow of infinite jest.
Such a high concept drama.
Well,
But what did you mean when Thorgan said, this looks nothing like your ass?
This looks nothing like your ass.
to be fair,
Well, you know, I was really just trying to go with the concept behind how capitalism begs us all to the real dangers of the world.
God.
Fucking.
Devastating social commentary.
Thank you.
So from now
When
on,
he rips
whenever
the arm off the robot, it is talking about the terrors of capitalism in a communist-dominated world.
I always interpreted it as a jab at anti-Semitism in the 1940s.
Really gets you into the Jewish mindset about.
But yeah, so that's the story of how Aaron thought a space comedy was high drama.
So whenever he's fucking up, we're like, Aaron, are you being dramatic again?
Basically.
And now you all have that as a tool to use. So feel free to dispense it at your whim.
I have nothing to say to this.
You're like, I regret what I've done.
It's like
He's just cringing hard.
Like to sort of give like my horrible defense, basically, is like the only other script that I've read like full through and critiqued was Unknown Plumber, Tyler's like 8th
All right,
draft.
I am temporarily / permanently dipping out. So
okay. Thanks for joining us, Will.
Bye, Will.
Do I need to kick?
You were saying?
It's kind of hard for me to hear you, Aaron, because of all the storming.
Oh, that's fair. I'm just gonna kick Will. Oh, what? Okay.
Like, my computer audio is all the way up. And I'm, like, having to lean forward to my speakers.
Right. And no headsets available? There we go. Okay, I got him. Can you turn me up in Discord just to make sure you can hear me? I think it's right-click and just turn me up. I always have these audio issues. Everyone has to keep adjusting their volume with me so they can hear me. It's an unfortunate inconsistency.
Oh, I see it.
What?
The volume. I didn't know to use it.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah. Oh boy. No, yeah.
Why are you hitting yourself? Why are you hitting yourself?
I see. Here's the sad thing: is that I was reading that like that night, like in bed or something like that, and I laughed out loud at that, and it just like put me in a funk of like I don't know what I'm reading, and all I've ever read before in terms of real critique has been Tyler's writing, and like and so I knew we were gonna I knew I was being brought in to like improve where I could help. And I had not read any other like professional scripts. Like I tried to like go look up Aaron Sorkin scripts or something like that. But I get to this and I'm not given any, or I didn't hear it, the premise of the comedy for the show. So I'm just like reading it, and for those that don't know me, I am unfortunately super serious all the time until I'm a fucking troll, and that's where I unfortunately flip. I flip it on people, and then it just jars the hell out of like newbies who are like, "This guy's a complete asshole," and it's just like, nah.
Yeah, no, I usually take things pretty seriously too. I don't understand most people's points of comedy because of that. So I get it. I get it.
Yeah, I think we can blame that on both of our upbringings, I guess, because I had a pretty conservative Christian upbringing.
Yeah. Mine normally beats most, but if you got even a little taste of it, it really messes with you.
No joy whatsoever.
I was luckily allowed
Except
cartoons.
the joy of the Lord. You're allowed to have the joy of the Lord.
And that's it. Nothing more.
Bless.
Jesus.
Oh, it's raining over here too now.
My family attempted to do that.
Oh yeah, can y'all hear the storm? It's super bad.
Oh yeah, I can hear it now
it's
too.
pouring.
Although it's way less than it was the other day.
Definitely.
Like Wednesday.
The other day,
yeah,
it was like lightning was popping like the neighborhood over like every 30 seconds for a solid 10 minutes,
No,
if not 20 minutes. It was so bad.
No,
everybody?
Sutherland Nissan, where my company that I work for has their we have a new vehicle that we purchased. I went there to service them.
I can hear you, Tyler, but you're stuck.
He's
left. Bye. Okay.
And
then there were 4.
Yeah. But apparently Sutherland Nissan, like all of their like printers or whatnot, like got fried from that storm the other day. So like they couldn't print anything for, hey, here's your receipts and stuff like that, stuff to sign. So I was like, cool, well, thanks for fixing the van. I'm going to go to work now. And he's trying to get back.
I think Tyler is broken.
He just might be. It's sad because we're 30 minutes into
we
this.
know
I know mentally he's broken. I meant physically at the moment, though. He might be broken.
Technically. And
Or
Weather Channel's having a hard time
whatever.
loading this right now.
I'm back.
Okay, give me the present.
I am
There
back.
we go.
Did it go out for y'all too, or just me?
No, just you
Just
at this point. Yeah, we're in the middle of
Just you.
Yeah, we're kind of
Just
in the
you.
middle of it right now.
Hey, nature, calm the fuck down.
Nature's gonna do what she fucking wants.
Yeah,
I know she does.
You
That's the
can't
problem.
be-
Yeah, you should know men.
What makes her beautiful?
Yeah, Tyler, you should honestly know better talking
terrifying.
to nature like that.
Oh, I should talk to her all the time. That's
That
probably why we
I,
get Rona.
I went out into the middle of a hurricane once, and I was like, "Nature, I want you to dom me. Go."
Harder, daddy.
Who are you, Uncle Iroh, but with fucking Zuko's level of temperament? Like,
Indeed.
I mean, he's got the hair and the beard going already.
I'm
and
picturing.
the wise old sayings.
So,
Do you have an enjoyment of tea?
Yeah, actually, funnily enough, sadly, the ants are here, and they're in my fucking cup of tea that I drank a while ago, gorging themselves on my honey.
Calm down.
Well,
Fuck.
you get to have protein in your tea now. Like, not a lot of people get to do that.
Yeah, appreciate the gifts of nature.
I fucking hate ants.
One of Uncle
Alright.
Iroh's most prolific teachings is to appreciate Mother Nature in her chaos, in her calm, in her beauty, and always appreciate her gifts.
Listen, I appreciate the shit out of a lot of things, but one thing I do not appreciate is ants. It's the one animal I have an irrational hatred for, and I realize it's irrational, and I try not to kill them all. But when I wake up and I go to the mirror and there's 15 new freckles all moving all over me, it's kind of annoying.
I need to send you a bottle of Entice, and hopefully you can get that figured out there, buddy.
For me, I have that hatred for mosquitoes.
I can understand that hatred.
You know, as a Floridian, you'd think I'd hate mosquitoes more, but I don't. They don't really matter to me.
I feel like they
Never.
tasted.
I find mosquitoes frustrating.
Yeah, I feel like they tasted like your like Viking blood and went, we don't know what this is. We're leaving.
This food is foreign and strange to us.
Yes.
There's too much spice in this. We gotta get out of here.
No, well, no.
This is wrong.
I don't think that's accurate here because mosquitoes being sort of indigenous to this more tropical area, they're gonna be used to people with more tanned, skins, more melanin in their skin. But
Yeah.
they get someone with the kind of paleness that's almost translucent. They're like, wait, I can see
Wow.
my food? This is awkward.
Rude.
No. It's Gordon Ramsay as a mosquito. Sucks on the blood. It's raw.
It's fucking raw.
Where's the sauce?
Is anyone inclined to like pay $50 for his masterclass just to watch him be a sweet soul?
Honestly,
Oh,
I
God,
am
Yeah,
very
actually,
tempted.
I kind of am because I actually, when he is kind, he's like Bob Ross levels of comforting.
Yes,
Like
he is.
Yeah,
Like, have you seen that man on his children's cooking show with the children's challenges?
Yeah.
And like a girl breaks down and he's just like, no. What's wrong? Like, stop crying. You're okay. And like, oh my gosh.
I like his retort. I think Stephen Colbert was interviewing him. It's like, you come off a show like Hell's Kitchen or Kitchen Nightmares, and you're just such a sweet man. That show's like, well, what the fuck you expect? They're 8.
Literally. He treats children as children should be treated, and he treats adults in such a way that they not necessarily should be treated, but can be treated.
But at the
Because
same
they're
time-
adults, they can fucking deal with it.
Well, that and the people he brings into those shows are supposed to be professional chefs. So
A lot of the time, the people he deals with are very arrogant.
Yes.
And just complete asshats.
I do like watching the British version of Kitchen Nightmares better than the American version, because the American version ends up breaking down to they never clean their kitchen, and that's the whole premise, and then he fixes everything, and then the boss is horrible, as opposed to you go to the British version, they're actually focused on getting the real problems, and it's always something different every time, whether it's the management, whether it's the staff being unprofessional, or in rare cases, maybe they don't clean their kitchen, but it's not all the time.
Yeah. I actually have recently been going through Kitchen Nightmares because what is that on Hulu?
I've been watching them on YouTube. I think it's on Hulu though.
Yeah. So I recently realized that I have access to Hulu via the PS4 because passwords and shit. So I was going through stuff on there because I got an account for myself. And so I've been going through Kitchen Nightmares, but it is the American one. And like 9 times out of 10, yeah, their kitchen's not clean. In the defense, though, of the American version, that's not the only problem most of the time.
Oh no, it's the managers.
Yeah, in one case it was the owner. Like it was his mom. Like the mom and the son were owning, and like Gordon Ramsay ended up like helping the son work through some like childhood trauma from his dad, just always harping on him and that he could never be good enough. And that was actually like quality content. Now I don't know what went on behind the scenes, but on screen, what they chose to share of that, you were like, okay.
I think one of my favorite episodes, it's a pizza place. And it's these twins that own it, and they act pretty childish towards it, and the staff is pretty frustrated with it. The food's close to toxic, like they're giving them raw chicken, so that's a no-no. Yeah, no.
Fucking
close to toxic, that is toxic.
Even one of the owners even asked him, "What, you don't like raw chicken?" And I'm like, I hope that was scripted. If it wasn't, oh my god.
What?
Glad he went there.
I hope you are being sarcastic, sir.
Rare chicken. Delicious.
But no, those guys actually end up being pretty alright, though.
Chicken tartare.
And it's just like, I was talking to my buddy Alex, it's just like, I like how Chef Ramsay most of the time in this show is a psychologist more than the chef. Like, he's definitely a chef, but most of the time he's helping people work through their problems.
Bon sweet.
And, especially those twins, like they wouldn't clean the dining room. They were serving raw chicken, but they end up turning it around. Oh, and their pizza, when you tilt the pizza over, everything just fell off of it. It has so much shit in it, but no cheese.
There's no fucking cohesion.
And it's greasy too, so that really didn't help. So it's like, but he ended up turning their menu around, teaching them actually how to cook, home make your shit, don't freeze it and microwave it. Wait, who just texted? Oh, my mom just texted.
I like most of his stuff, if not all his stuff. He is Gordon Ramsay.
It started off with like the Kitchen Nightmares little clips and the Hell's Kitchen clips, and like those are funny too. It took me a long time to get the Hell's Kitchen because I knew what that was about. I'm like, I'm gonna hold off on this because I don't. As funny as he is, I don't care to basically see him bitch out everybody. But then when I watch it, I'm like, this is just like basic training all over again. I love it.
Yeah, I remember seeing episodes of Hell's Kitchen when I hesitate to say a kid, but when I was younger, significantly. And I remember just like not understanding why he was so harsh, and why he was so mean. And so it's actually really interesting, at least for me, because I was like probably middle schoolish when, if not a little bit younger, when he was doing when he was doing Hell's Kitchen. Yeah. And so like, and I know my family didn't like him because he cusses, right? Yeah. So like, my family doesn't like Gordon Ramsay because he cusses and he's mean and he yells a lot. And so like, that's kind of the impression I got of him. So then like to grow up and then like actually see Gordon Ramsay for who he is and be like, wow, no, this is a quality human being. Like, it's very, very interesting. I have a deep appreciation for him for that reason.
Finally, a good fucking human being.
I actually had that same perspective growing up because my family would basically have the same perspective. Oh, he cusses a lot and he's mean, and it's just like, no, you think that because you don't like to be called out, you don't know what the fuck you're doing, and when somebody calls you out, you're like, I feel so attacked. It's like, well, number one, don't call yourself a professional chef if you're not a professional chef. Like, if you say you're a professional chef, there's an expectation that he has, and when you fail to meet those expectations, like, he has low bar expectations, but when you can't even get to there, yeah, it's upsetting, especially when you're charging people for that service.
Well, the other thing to sort of the other sort of thing to throw at people is, like, if you've never done any amount of production work, then you have no idea what editing is and what playing a role is. So it's kind of hard to look at certain. Well, even Ellen is sort of having this revealed, like, even in a broader scope, in a reverse version, where Ellen is very insufferable to work with, according to, like, background cast or crew or something like that. And,
like Ellen DeGeneres?
Yeah, DeGeneres, yeah.
Yeah.
She's been getting that kind of heat lately. It's its own funny thing where people want to, like, throw out, like, judgment calls on produced shows, and it's like, you're getting what they want you to see for the sake of the show, so you're pulling a lot out here. Like, even the recent Michael Jordan documentary, like, a lot of the players from the Chicago Bulls of that era are actually having their own gripes with how they were portrayed in that, because it's a docu-series that's pretty much just highlighting the Bulls and Michael Jordan of the time, and maybe not full mischaracterizing, but definitely not providing, like, perhaps the full scope that the other players would appreciate.
There's missing context.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, that's one of the reasons why I don't really watch reality TV is because, like, honestly, it's all bullshit. And if I'm going to watch bullshit, I better have dragons in it.
Right?
Like, my bullshit needs some dragons, not some ducks and some guns.
Or a fox with an axe.
Or...
Well, let me tell you about them libtards.
No.
God.
Gordon Ramsay's the only reality TV I will watch.
Yeah, I didn't even realize it was reality
not just
TV.
Gordon Ramsay, just kitchen stuff. So, like, Iron Chef, etc.
And I do learn some things from it, so it's like, oh, I'm actually getting something out of this.
Exactly, because it's informational enough because you're watching people do something. So if you're a visual learner, it's actually a highly informative show. Most of the cooking ones are. And you get a better understanding of expectations in that industry. But, like, you just ignore the drama because you know most of it is, I'm not going to say fake, but...
It's edited to where it's
extrapolated.
It's
extrapolated.
It's edited to where it's overblown.
Yeah.
Like, the thing about editing is that you can turn drama that doesn't even exist into, like, the biggest fucking deal. Like,
you absolutely can.
Until you edit out, until you do an edit on a long piece of content, and you edit that bitch down to whatever the fuck you want it to be, and you you do that once, you realize, like, in the editing bay, you can do almost anything. You can turn a cordial conversation into someone called someone the N-word and they never said that word through the whole fucking thing. Like, you really can. You can do anything with it.
It's quite impressive, which is why when anyone says, we'll fix it in post, the editors are like, no, fuck you.
Yeah.
Not happening.
Just because you can do anything
in post.
Yeah, just because you can do almost anything in post doesn't mean that you can, really, or you want to.
You should. You should not.
There's a lot of people I work with that embrace that philosophy, and it's just like,
I mean,
how about you do it
at a film studio. I worked at a film studio, and there was one time where we had to fix something in post. It was a Christian studio, and someone had worn a hat that had the ministry's logo on it, and this person was supposed to be one of the bad kids and was smoking supposedly pot, but I forget what they actually were smoking. It wasn't pot. Like, they literally had to go frame by frame and cover up this logo on this dude's hat. But like, that's one of the things where you're like, okay, well, thank you, graphics editor, but guys, don't let it happen again. Right? We actually ended up having like when we had like the end meeting for the project, this happened. Don't let it happen again. Pay more attention.
Right.
So
Yeah, it's supposed to be a not last minute thing, but a last resort sort of thing. But a lot of the people that I've worked with think, oh, I don't really have to work a lot since I could use it to compensate for my lack of effort. And it's just like, that's not how editing works. If you're a lazy piece of shit who doesn't want to do it right, like do it several times until you get the right fucking take, that editing is not going to cover for your incompetence.
Yeah. That's where I've actually gone in the opposite direction, where I try to do as many like live stream or long form things as possible, because it's kind of the popular thing, but it's also a style that I like and want to do, because I really believe that old media is going to be dead and gone inside of 10 years, outside of like a huge amount of bailouts from like the government or some shit. So and I've also taken like well, I've done edits of the Age of Empires thing and the Pummel Party series that I'm still like going through, and even editing an hour's worth of content, or even 20 minutes of content, and you end up editing that down into a 5-minute piece. That's still like an hour or more, depending on how creative you want to get with added in things, Photoshop pieces, original content, or finding music. It's just like a 5-minute video can become like a 24-hour project after recording, and I just don't have that kind of timing. That's actually where like jumping into these other projects with Aaron have been quite fulfilling, because it's a long con play, and there's a lot of building to do, because it's a big project, and all these
there's a lot of potential too.
Yeah, and I can still do all my podcasts. I just have to schedule what I want when I can. And I know how to make all that work and go up to the website and podcasts and everything. And then the HBVC is also quite that's also great, just for it's a live stream product as well. At best, the best version of it, we start, we stream, we record, and I never even have to go to the editing bay. Like the starting soon logo is there for like 10 seconds or maybe a minute or 5. You can put the little starts here for just to cut the 5 minutes out, or go and post and cut it. But when it's a 4-hour fucking clip, that's going to be like almost a 4-hour render. It's like, if I can get this done and uploaded, because it's going to take like 2 hours for it to upload anyway or something like that. It's like, let me just stream it, cut, and be good. Like, let me do as much as I can in the live broadcast, so I don't ever have to go to the editing bay.
Yeah. I mean, I super enjoy editing. Like, if you sit me down with
same.
a thing with you with clips and with sound and I can't do graphics because I've worked very limitedly in After Effects, but if you hand me the graphics, like if you hand me everything, like I will start editing and like I don't know, it'll be like 3 a.m. and I'll be like, wait, it's been 5 hours? What? I've not been editing for 5 hours. That's not true. But like literally, when I get in the editing bay, I just zone completely into what I'm doing. I love it so much, but like it's so time consuming, and then you're exhausted afterwards because you hyper focus.
Yeah. Yep. I found editing. I fell in love with editing because it was the only thing I found that required my full attention. Period. Like,
yes.
There's
my gosh.
There's no background music. There's nothing in the back. It's not a. Like I now strive, and this is what I've enjoyed with having with pest control, doing Centricon work, is that I can plug in anything. Joe Rogan podcast, audiobooks, lectures. I can have that in my ear the whole day, and I can just autopilot and then just hit pause when I have to think because I found termites or something like that, or something weird's happened. But then I'm right back into what I'm doing. When you're in the editing bay, when you're editing content of any kind, everything's off. You are on you're on your headset. You're noticing everything. You have to catch every frame, highlight every piece, make sure everything's jumping in at the right keyframe. If you're gonna like transition something in or animate it on the program, and it's so. You have to find the right personality person for it, but someone that really enjoys high detailed work loves editing. will love editing because they love getting everything like, I see you,
Perfect.
I see you, I see you. They love getting shit right perfect on that frame because they understand.
I am such a perfectionist. I love detailed work, and I even love repetitive detailed work. Like jigsaw puzzles are like one of my favorite things to do. I will tone out everything, and I'm so good at jigsaw puzzles, but like that's why I love editing is I'm a perfectionist, and I will spend 20 to 30 minutes getting this audio fade perfect. I will.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, audio fades are like, I'm so picky about those, especially if my audio clip I'm supposed to be using is shorter than the video needs to be, or shorter than the content, and then I have to find ways to actually make it longer by repeating sections and splicing it just right and getting it to fade in so that you can't tell that there's an audio cut. Like, mwah.
Okay, I'm gonna shout out a podcast that I worked on with for about 2 episodes worth before my guy went ahead and found another way to do it so it could fit better, because he needed someone that could dedicate more time than I could. But it's the Tech and Flow podcast by my boy Xavier Gray, and he interviews people in the tech and industry to sort of get their gist, get their mind going for if they're startups or stuff like that. But so in the first episode or whatnot, we had a partner, and she created an animated version of the logo, which was great. It had that fade in, fade out, like open sign sort of thing. But I had to basically stretch that to fill out the whole intro and whatnot. So I ended up finding the right span to where it was the fade to black into the glowing repeated animation. But then I had to find that right spot in it and then repeat it out. So it kept glowing, 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 glowing at maybe a weird frequency, but it was repeated. So it was consistent until the intro was gone, and then it faded and went into the actual show. So like I was like,
there is an art to that.
There is.
Yeah.
There is a very specific art to that because you have to match that frame perfectly. You have to find that perfect exact moment, and the patience and the attention to detail and the specificity for that, not everyone has it.
Well, I found specifically that certain people, I had one group of guys, but not like for 3 of us, but 2 of them would never, maybe one of them, but one of them, like they don't have the equipment, and nor have they shown any dedication to any sort of art form outside of just their normal lives, that's their life. Like, good for them if they're happy and everything. But there's some people that just don't know how to create good comedic timing in a video form. Like, you need to be okay with going back even 5 minutes or a solid minute before your punchline and seeing if everything times out. If you can hear it and put yourself in the ignorant audience standpoint where they're watching it for the first time and know that the joke is legible, is clearly communicated, and the timing is right. And that's what I kind of really loved, was knowing that I could figure out how to land the right images to where there might be 2 or 3 jokes in there, and the loudest one is going to be caught visually, and if they rewatch it, they'll be able to catch the secondary and tertiary jokes. And that's
actually,
yeah. Go ahead.
If I might interject, even aside from editing, but just as a creative, it's sometimes really hard to put myself in the shoes of the ignorant audience, especially when you know how the process goes of production.
Yeah, it's a hard thing to do. That's
like,
not easy.
There's very few movies or shows that really take me, like, because sometimes I have to force it on myself. Like, no, just shut up, watch the movie, don't worry about the production, just don't worry about any of that. But it creeps in.
But that's because we're film majors.
Yeah,
we literally did nothing but study this for 4 friggin' years, Tyler.
It fucking creeps in, and it's just like, even
It's
with
not our
Rise of
fault.
Skywalker, I wanted myself to get lost in it, but I just found myself going, how did they write this? But the music's kind of off here. Why did they do that? Why did they make that choice? Like, it's more of like a Q&A than it is watching a movie. Like, I'm just forming all these questions and shit, and
This is why. This is, I think, because my parody to that is that this is why I was positive on getting a business degree, because demystifying creative processes will remove magic, but demystifying mechanical things that require a different, like, it requires focus, but it requires a, the kind of conscientiousness or whatnot that would be more relatable to a conservative in terms of just social or political influence or whatnot. Just not trying to like make any critiques on anything like that, but that's why I went to the business degree, is demystifying further my understanding of business, because I wanted to run one and take care of that side because I had an affinity for it as well. But then coming into doing the creative stuff, I don't have all of the hardcore knowledge, so I'm very much like kind of coming in with young eyes, and I'm very good at, and I am very, like, I love Scrubs because I'm a huge romantic and I love the unrequited love situations with like Elliot and JD. Yeah. So like even applying like good hard standards like I sometimes put out there, even watching that, I'm like, will they, won't they? So like that's where I think right now I'm succeeding well with helping you guys with Thorgan, because I'm able to just take a step back and just be the audience member. I can watch Star Wars or other movies and like, oh, I wonder how they got that shot or pulled this off, or that's just probably CGI. But I also, I guess, just have a better knack for just existing and presently, just letting myself exist presently in what I'm watching.
I'll let you finish.
Yeah, go ahead.
There are times where there is a joy in that analysis frame mind, though.
Yeah, I was going to disagree on the thing where it takes the magic away. I don't think that it takes the magic away. Being a part of the people who know the magic, it's like being a witch. You know how the magic works. You can cast the spells yourself.
I would agree. It doesn't really take away the magic. It just changes the magic.
Yeah.
It amplifies it for me sometimes. The one scene where I'm thinking about it in Return of the Jedi. They made that in the late 80s. And I'm looking at these shots, and I'm looking at the original footage. I'm like, how the fuck did they get that? Because it's a high-speed chase. I'm like, this is modern filmmaking. But then I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, fuck, I know exactly. Once I figured out like what they did with the camera, what they did with the set, what they did with the models, I'm like, oh, fuck, it makes a lot of sense now. Like, it is literally old principles that Walt Disney would use for animation. Like, I'm like, then it just amplified. I'm like, oh, so that's how they fucking did that.
Yeah.
And it does break it down, but it amplifies the magic of them. Like, that is awesome that somebody fucking figured that out.
It's as was another way of parroting what everyone else just said. It informs how to make the magic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like when you finally discover how they built Stonehenge or the pyramids. I'm like, oh, fuck, okay.
You're a wizard, Larry.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so here's an unfortunate thing that I'm trying to see if I will be apt or I'm just going to treat it as what I want. But when I came to fully understand how stand-up comedy works, it took away the magic for me in wanting to be like, and wanting to try it more, because stand-up comedy is actually a very rehearsed talk.
It's a full-time job.
Oh, yeah.
It's a very rehearsed speech and performance, as opposed to improv, that I also love and have done classes for, that is very literally made up on the spot. Like the comparison, and I told Tyler this several times, good improv looks like it's been rehearsed for months. Good
stand-up comedy looks like you're just talking with your friends.
Like you're just coming up with this right now.
Yeah.
That's what.
And see, that actually appeals to me. Like, I suck at improv, right? Because I have really high social anxiety. So like my mind just breaks. But I'm incredibly good at taking something that I've rehearsed a million times, and like, because I majored in linguistics, I know the tricks to make my voice, and like I majored in linguistics, and then I did theater as well. So like I have the ability to take something that I've scripted and rehearsed a million times and still give it something fresh, because I know just the smallest tweak of my voice in this one spot is going to make it sound just that much more authentic. So to me, the appeal is the other way around.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we're still going on unique pieces there. I'm kind of taking a very lazy route on my creative pieces outside of very committed large projects where I'm not interested in taking a long time doing video type content or devoting myself only to like things like the Pummel Party, the Age of Empires series, or in the case of stand up, I really kind of want to do it and do the practice on an eventually piece and like grab Tyler or grab anyone locally wherever I am interested. It's like, no, I'm gonna go down at least once a week and become more comfortable with the public speaking piece, which I have a good history in affluence with, but being funny on purpose, and I at least want to be casually interested in the art and be going and doing other things. Like I'm still on the place of like, and Aaron's actually been the only reason that I've become hyper committed to anything lately with the fan dub and the Thorgan projects, because there's so many resources already put in, and we're working like every night. Like in effect, this is kind of like the only night we've taken off all week of not going in, doing auditions or brainstorming or creating Reddits or creating Discords or figuring out other things. So everything else, like in my life, everything in my life is on hold. Like I realized like today, that's like, oh, I haven't done a P2 podcast since like the beginning of the month, beginning of May. And we're about to go into June. So it's like, probably need to do one soon for like my own shit. I am paying for like a website and all that.
Well, fate heard you, and karma said sure.
Right.
This is the turn in.
Here you go,
midnight, Sunday morning, last minute homework assignment.
We were either going to have a HotBox VoiceCast episode, or now we have a P2 podcast episode. So it's all, it's all.
Where we talk about kazoos, dairy products, and making sure to keep the magic alive.
Alrighty.
And chuckling strawberries out the crevices of his arms.
I need to check, why is Will here but muted or not in video? Because I'm about to
that's a question.
Yeah,
he's been here for a while, but I'm not sure what he's doing again.
He just
he's
came
not
back.
Home.
He just came back.
On accident?
So
he's been back on my screen for like 10-ish minutes now.
My screen for a hot minute now, but like it's
same.
just been sitting there, and he hasn't made any comment.
Yeah, so
I can text him and ask him, but I don't know. He's at the beach with Steven.
Okay, so I'm going to disconnect him. Go ahead and message him that if he's going to rejoin the podcast to...
He actually has to rejoin the podcast.
To fully join, because I disconnected him earlier when he left, and then he just rejoined. I'm just like, is he drunk? Is he drunkenly joining but not unmuting himself?
I mean, you saw he was drinking, and I believe it was your house that he got drunk at last time.
Yeah.
Oh, Melanie. What was it?
God.
Melanie wanted me to go in there. I was like, can you please clean up like whatever food particles are still there like a week later in the tub? She's like,
oh God.
She's like, never let anyone puke in the tub again, because she likes to soak in the tub, because we have one tub in the house and it's the tub that he puked in, and she's like, yeah. Like
Toilet.
She was soaking in Will's soup.
The fact that you went even
no. It was macaroni and Everclear soup.
That was the point. Thank you for appreciating my artistry.
He does this all the time, where he throats the mic and delivers like very important gospel.
Discomfort level was real.
Hey,
and now,
I had to deal with that aftermath too, man.
You had to drive him home.
I was there when the magics were written.
I had to drive home with that. Anyway.
I have a story that coincides with excessive drunkenness. So, Solomon, you know Michael Castro now. Tyler, I think that you know this story, but I have a friend. His name's Michael Castro, very tall, lanky fellow, Cuban, and he loves doing music. So, I think this was about 4 or 5 years ago. Comes to my house and he brings a drinking game called Drunk Quest. And I'm like, okay, this seems like a fun time. It wasn't a fun time. But we didn't know it at the time. So we initiate play of this game, and I'll tell you, it took only 40 minutes before everything went wrong. And we're drinking. We're playing.
You were playing D&D.
No, it's actually a card game, but it's based around Dungeons and Dragons.
I was being sarcastic.
I'm sorry. It's an actual board game. I take board games seriously.
No, just because you had said it only took like 40 minutes for everything to go wrong. So I said, so you were playing D&D.
That makes more sense. All right. So, anyways, we're playing, and somebody gets the hops token, and this is a token that you can play on somebody to make them finish their drink at any time.
Oh boy.
And Michael made this horrific abomination for some reason.
A grog?
No. It was literally an abomination made up of several different drinks that had no business being together. There was Baileys, like Irish Baileys, mixed with lemonade. The expression on Aaron's face, the immediate turn.
And this is coming from and this is coming from someone who puts Baileys in their whole milk because it basically does taste like a root beer float. And
there was lemonade, tea, and gin.
That's grog.
It was
maybe lemonade and gin is okay.
An abomination.
Yeah.
Obamacare.
And so he was required to finish that drink by a card. And he was like, "Oh God, this is the most disgusting thing." And then we go, "Well, go pick something else, to fill your cup with." So he fills a turvis of gin because he'd never had gin before.
A turvis?
Oh, no.
A turvis?
Oh God.
A turvis, a small turvis, like an 8-ounce turvis, I think, or something like that.
What the fuck is a turvis? Like you're throwing
It's a cup.
A turvis is like this.
Yeah, but it was smaller than that, not too much smaller, but it was a turvis.
This is 30 ounces. This is huge.
Yeah, I've never heard that term either.
Okay.
He fills it up.
It's an adult sippy cup.
He fills it up, comes back to the table, and immediately as he sits down with his turvis full of gin, the guy with the hops token plays it on him. And we all turn to him like,
well,
why would you do that? And he looks at the cup as though he sees God. Because he knows that this is the end of his life, and he looks to me, and I'm like, "I'm sorry, Michael. Can't be a little bitch."
I'm sorry, little one.
No, if you were listening earlier, Tyler, he is a lanky-ass Cuban. He is a Cuban made of bamboo. This motherfucker's about to fucking be filtered.
So he drinks the entire thing of turvis, the entire turvis of gin, excuse me, and within 5 minutes, he has his shirt off, and he's begging for pencil and paper so he can make his dream house. He draws me in front of a house, which he's an architect, by the way, like deep down, so that's where he was wanting to do that from. Mm-hmm. And he draws designs for a house, and he's like, "And you're there because you're my best friend, but not Andrew because he's an asshole." Which he's the guy who made him drink the entire gin, which I agree with him in that moment.
Y'all deal with it.
He drinks it, and I see him start to like shake a little, and I'm like, "Oh no. Get out to the trash bin!" And he vomits on himself and the couch. And I'm like, "Okay, Michael, we're going to the tub. This is for your own good." He's like, "No, why? I feel bad." And I'm like, "That's why we're going to the tub, buddy." And so we get him to the tub. And I'm like, "Now, Michael, I'm sorry, and this is going to sound real rapey, but this is for your own good. I need you to take your pants off, buddy." And he's like, "Why?" And I'm like, "You're going to shit yourself." And he's like, "What do you mean?" And I'm like, "You're going to create fecal matter from your ass into these pants unless we get you in the tub, buddy." So we get him in the tub, and Lo and behold, a minute later, he pisses and shits himself. On cue. And I'm just there for the next, I think it's 5-6 hours, watching over him so he doesn't drown in his own sick filth. And the entire time I'm looking at Andrew like, this is your fault. You clean up the goddamn couch, you son of a bitch.
Did you have the shower running, just like hosing him down like every 10 minutes?
Every once in a while, yeah, I was running the shower over him so that he didn't fucking like rot and stew in his own juices.
The worst Irish beef stew you ever done see, because it's got a Cuban in it.
Oh God, nasty.
That's like when we got Brower to finally drink.
Oh my God.
We gave him a whole coffee cup full of gin. It's like, you want to try it? Like, try it, as in, take a sip. This motherfucker grabs the cup and starts drinking it like water. Doesn't cough, doesn't react, nothing.
He just like a shot, like
he drank a coffee cup.
Finally, a reason I can respect Brower.
Not for long.
Yeah, no, then he gets
I love
really...
how me and Maurl just shake our heads as disappointed parents about this. Just
I wasn't there for the aftermath.
If only got the coffee cup of gin. That's not that bad.
Yeah.
You also have to realize that Brower is the biggest lightweight. Well,
he never drank before.
Yeah.
The biggest lightweight is my ex, but that's not the point.
Yeah.
He never drank before, so I'm like, Brower, what the fuck are you doing? We said try it, not
deep throat the god of gin.
I think he's trying to big dick at that moment where he's like, I've never drank, and they kind of know this. So I'm gonna drink this like it's no big deal because they told me to try it. And
he gets fucked.
Yeah, and then he gets fucked.
He regretted it later.
Yeah,
he regretted it.
There's a lot of things.
I remember the first alcohol my other roommate had was some Korean vodka, some soju I gave her. And I had just like half a bottle left from, I think it was New Year's or whatever. Not this past New Year's, but New Year's before that. And we're not going to tell anyone Alice's age.
Yeah.
But
60.
But anyway, I had brought it over because she wasn't my roommate at the time, but I was hanging out with friends, and basically everyone got a single shot of vodka. But she'd never had straight liquor before. She'd had like Jello shots and other like lightweight stuff, but not like a shot of liquor. So it was so funny because everyone that was taking the shots has had shots before, so they're just downing it. So when she gets to the shot, she goes to try to down it like us. And like she literally starts sputtering and coughing, and like I'm pretty sure she nearly fell down because of how caught off guard she was. Because literally she didn't have any basis for this of what it was going to be like, and like me and one of the other people there just died laughing. I was just like,
I would.
Yeah, that's correct. It was hilarious.
I lack so much alcohol experience. I still don't think I take shots correctly.
So,
I still kind of drink them basically.
Oh wow, you people are still here.
Yes, Captain.
Yeah.
We're only at like
Are you
an hour and 13
joining us,
minutes
or are you gonna just randomly float in the corner there again?
I can float, definitely.
No. The intent was that you don't float.
Yeah.
We all float down here.
That's why we kept kicking you off.
Into the nether.
We all send here.
So after I kept Michael from dying in his own soup,
it's mostly stew.
I was awake for the next basically day because I didn't want him to die, and then by the time he woke up, I was like, it was time to start the next day. So he wakes up, and I think it's like 7 o'clock in the morning, and I'm just lying there on my back staring at the ceiling, just making sure he's not dead.
That's like
and he goes, "What happened?" And I rise like Nosferatu from the grave. And I go like, "There's a lot of shit that happened, Michael." And he's like, "Why does everything hurt?" And I'm like, "Because Andrew's an asshole." So we go to IHOP, and I'm explaining to him the events of the evening, and there's this little girl who keeps looking at him from the table on the other side, and she walks over and she goes, "What happened to you?" I'm like,
to tell the whole story.
no, my child, you're not ready for this yet.
I'm waiting for her to be like, "You look like a murder victim."
He shit himself.
No, that would be my cousin.
I mean, it was nearly attempted murder there.
Yeah, you're allowed.
Yeah, that's a fair
What
point.
up? This is Stephen Trueweek. Some of you know him. Some of you don't. Hey, Sam.
Well,
How are you?
I was like, wait, I know him.
Yeah, you know it's the hair. It's still pretty long too.
spontaneous
totally there.
reunion right now.
I think I've seen you on my friends list somewhere.
Probably once or twice, yeah.
Why do you?
But
seem
no, this
so
is so cool that you guys are able to do all your guys' Skype. Is this Zoom? I don't even know what this is anymore.
You are such a
Discord.
you are such a dad
What?
boomer right now. Energy, it's adorable.
As a man of fellow lustrous hair, I must show my mane off as well.
I'm jealous.
Very
I am
impressive.
quite jealous.
Oh, there we go.
My hair doesn't even get that long when it's wet.
It's still luscious, though. It's a courtesy thing between men of gorgeous locks.
I
I was gonna say, I actually love the gender stereotypes we're breaking here because at least 3 of the men here, if not 4 of the men here, have longer hair than both assigned female at birth people.
Ha! You hear that, Will?
Yeah. It is what
All
it is.
Yeah, I know,
see.
Mister. We would have had 5 guys with longer hair, but
See,
decisions were made.
see,
True.
Hey, I'll
This
give him that.
shows-
He has the longest goatee out of any of us.
see. This shows.
It's true.
But this shows we can all grow up to be bitches if we want to. All right, where the fuck?
Listen, if you aspire to be a bitch, you can get there someday.
But does he look like a bitch?
You've met me. You can comment on that at will.
Does he act like a bitch? That's the important thing.
He definitely
You're
acts like a bitch. He doesn't look like a bitch.
Wait, are we still talking about me? I feel like
Yes.
shit.
And I'm allowed to say that because you literally hid behind a couch from me.
You hurt yourself for
Touche.
Aaron
Touche.
because you were scared of him. Did I hurt myself good
Well
enough for
played
you?
there, sir. Well played.
Did I hurt myself good enough for you?
Daddy.
I think the thing to point out is that I didn't exactly leave the scene. I just hid in the scene.
A lot of
became a
dedication on your
background
part,
element.
though.
Did we actually break that story down all the way?
I
Probably
don't think
not.
we did. I don't think we did.
Okay.
What story? by the way?
The story where I
Oh, yeah.
yeah, because I think we were rambling about that during the attempted Avengers VoiceCast episode.
He attempted.
Dude,
Yeah.
the name of this
The
podcast.
attempted assembly.
No, the name of this podcast episode is The Avengers. Ellipses. Still trying to assemble.
Worst team ever.
It's pretty much. Okay.
So,
So to break the story down, Melanie and I had actually just met Aaron Bryant here, amazing individual. Tyler had introduced us through, I don't even remember the initial meeting. But
Plumber.
anyway, it was Plumber or whatnot. So Aaron was graduating from UCF with his film degree or whatnot, and he was having his graduation ceremony out at Animal Kingdom, the hotel out there in Disney. And he invited us out with, it was like me and Melanie, Tyler, and then his group of HEMA, of HEMA trainees and students and such like that.
Just don't say the other one.
Yeah. Now, at the time, and you can see my familiarity with using the acronym, that I had heard of LARPing, and I was just being introduced to HEMA, where LARPing is live-action role-playing, but HEMA is historical European martial arts. So yeah, I got those down. So we're going to like the poolside and going down the slide and teaching kids how to like position properly, so you like shoot the fuck out and knock out grandma's teeth on the slide.
Not Karen out.
Yeah.
She won't speak to another manager again.
That's snowflake boomer.
Gotta aim for the chin, Timmy.
Which one?
So we get back up to the hotel where Aaron and specific crew are going to be spending the night with kind of a mother figure of yours who was helping just fund this whole thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you had a mother figure.
They were my stepmom for a long time.
Yeah. We go up there. Aaron crashes through, like, I don't know how many fucking ciders between Orchard and Wicked and shit. It's fucking ludicrous that he was...
Minimum, it was 12.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, we were just popping in, popping back out.
Yeah.
Have a good night. It's always good seeing you. Sam, tell your brother I said hey as well.
I will.
We'll see you guys on the flip side.
He has so much affable dad energy. Like he just does.
I would ask which one, but the answer is yes.
Will does not have dad energy. He has eclectic, eccentric goatee energy.
Uncle energy.
Kind of.
You do not live with him.
Yeah.
Touche. So, at one point, Aaron goes to take a shit, and we're just fucking around like in the living room or whatnot while he's over in one of the
You asked
rooms.
a legit question.
And I asked a legit question or something like that, but I threw out the LARPing thing because Aaron had already threatened my life with this. And so I throw it out there. He kind of mishears me, and he's like, I am coming for your ass, Solomon! And
yeah, he was in the bathroom. It was like 2 rooms away. Not 2 rooms away.
It was
like
a
room away.
It was a room and a door separation, basically, away. Like 2 doors
and
worth.
he heard it. It's
And
like Mr.
so-
Krabs hearing a penny drop.
Yeah. The wrath of God, I smelt it. And I understood the situation.
Louder.
And I chose the chair, this tall, like, armed chair in the corner, and dove behind that as a very good ploy and hiding place because I'm always about the scene, and somehow I've never gotten in a real fight of any kind. And I dive behind that, and so it's Disney, and they're, hyper controlling, and I'm pretty sure that chair was nailed to the floor because I'm like balled up and I cannot even begin to push the chair back to try to get me
That might have
some
been your benefit, though.
It might have, but he comes out. Everyone's already on the play of like we're just going to like enable this trickery, and they send him out of the hotel. Like no, he ran out the door. And so Aaron like goes into the hallway and looks around, but comes on back. He's like, "No, when he comes back, I'm gonna kick his fucking ass."
Here's the
and shit."
problem: everybody had a different story of where he went.
Yeah, there was like 2 to 3 different stories that were sort of posted, but maybe Aaron was too drunk or too enraged to like logic.
I wasn't able to process it. Someone said he ran out the door, and someone else said he jumped out the window. And I was like,
yeah, that's it.
There's like 3 different stories.
So then. I forget who, but someone's like, "No, Aaron, take a seat. He'll be back." And I'm just like, I'm just behind the chair, like.
what an Andrew move!
Yes, that motherfucker. So I feel him sit down, like his ass is to my spine. And I'm just like, and I'm compressed like 1 extra inch, and I'm like. I'm thinking about how you can take a pole, put in the ground, make someone cross their arms and legs in just the right way to where they cannot get out of the pole. I was like, I'm going to break my knees back here. I'm going to clench so hard, I'm going to snap my thigh. Like, that's what I'm thinking about. How long do I have to play this out till I don't die one way or the other? And I don't know what prompted it, but eventually, like, either he gets out of the chair and leaves, or I climb out and he does not wring my sieve neck.
It's okay. I wouldn't have killed you. I would have just probably held you upside down by your toes for a while. And then I would have had Tyler lick the raspberry preserves off of you.
That man's too hairy for me to do that.
I drink to forget.
And I always remember.
I drink.
And
That's it.
That's it. That's it. Oh my gosh. So I need to steal your brother's PC because he's not using it. Can we work on that?
Commandeer it.
Basically.
My brothers?
Yes. Like, I have like 2 high-functioning PCs and like a shit one, but I'd sooner have 3 high-functioning PCs.
He wants to expand his empire.
Basically, if anyone's the like successful, high-quality ethics capitalist out of the group of people, it's me.
Yeah.
Like, that's basically it. It's like, that's a capitalist that I could like give a thumbs up to, and that's about it. The rest of
funny part is I have no idea where he put it.
Oh, that has I'll give you 5 minutes and you can find that thing. You're smarter.
He yeeted it into the wall.
You're smarter than he is. No, I've told him to make a hole in his fucking wall and use the frame support beams of the wall to put it there. Like,
I would laugh if like the tower of the computer is nice, but he's got like a 90s Apple monitor.
Like my Dell Square screens that I have.
Tyler.
No. Not even that. It looks like a TV.
Tyler, you know my family very well. The only Apple thing we own is the crappy iPhone that I have.
I was thinking like that.
My family doesn't do Apple computers. Those things are so expensive.
No. Fuck Apple
I
computers.
dead ass thought you were gonna pull like a little green apple out and eat it. That was what I was hoping for.
No, I was thinking like those ones you see in elementary school. They're like
they sell the
like
rainbow apple.
Yeah,
the rainbow apple icon when it was called a Macintosh.
Yeah.
No,
not the high end. I mean, that was high end in its day.
See, that's where my brain went, and yeah, okay.
That's when you played Amazon.
A friend
River.
of mine.
Like a Dell Windows computer, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, Amazon River was the first game that I was okay reading to win, and also learning how to take photos of macaws in the jungle.
I'm being nosy in his desk, and the boy's got like 8 knives.
That was a great game, though.
It was.
He got 8 knives. Should I be worried?
I was obsessed with fishing in that game.
Okay. So one of 2 things, because
this one. There's 2 more over here. Like, he's got knives all over the place.
I feel really lacking.
Sounds like my brother.
All I
was the one that he's all gung ho about guns and stuff, but like there's like 6 knives in his desk, and I don't know.
If you want to go into a generational thing, my grandfather grew up in the Great Depression, and I was looking through his stuff recently, and he's got a big ass knife collection. He had like some of them were even like machetes. But yeah, he had a big ass knife collection. I ended up grabbing some of them to use for my kitchen because whenever my roommate died, his mom was coming to collect the stuff. I'm like, she's probably gonna want the knives, so I'm gonna bring my own knives into the kitchen so we're not losing out on knives. But she didn't even come to get those, so we have 2 sets of knives now.
I have a decent amount of knives. I have a nice kitchen knife set, and then I have some like antique knives that literally have Philippines etched into the edge of it with like it's like from 1940s or 30s or something. I'd have to grab the knife to be sure, but like I have some nice knives. I have some throwing stars. I have a katana, etc.
Yeah.
Full tang.
In my dad's room, we have a bunch of knives and like a huge sword. Actually, we have like 3 really big swords.
Nice.
But that's just because my dad and I like to buy weird shit. So I've got like the Gryffindor sword stash somewhere. I don't know what sword this one is that he just bought, but it's kind of cool and it's got really fun little game like on it.
Character?
I got 2 wall hanging swords of Link swords and Dark Link swords. I was gonna have them use it for Plumber, but I don't trust them with even weapons.
Kisuke Urahara. I have Urahara's Shikai. I have Urahara's Shikai. I have his.
Okay, I was gonna start naming off Bleach characters for you. I'm like Ichigo,
No.
Yakuya.
I know what character I identify with, and he's not Ginger. He's got a hat, he's got a store, and he is a badass.
Weird enough, the weird thing.
It's got the knuckle guard thing. This one's fun. It's got the knuckle guards. Sorry.
So you can punch and stab.
Yeah.
The weird thing I do have, it's not mine. He has yet to come get it though. My buddy Justin had a halberd and he left it at my house, so I've just been dragging this halberd around with me ever since.
God damn it!
Why is is this here? It's a mustache.
My dad.
It's his Markiplier mustache.
I think like my 12th birthday, he got me a
gun.
A Roman gladius.
Nice. That's fucking awesome.
Which is an arming sword. Mm-hmm. And my first day of having it, I accidentally bumped my sister with the pommel in the face. And I was just like, yeah. Because I dead ass thought the sword was gonna get taken from me. I wasn't concerned about her at the time. I mean, like an asshole.
That's legit, though. You're probably gonna get that taken off of you.
That's literally the first time that I've heard that you have a sister.
Oh, right? I don't. She's gone. She killed herself like 2-3 years ago. Yeah, it's fucked. But back to the original story.
I wasn't ready for that.
I didn't get a permission.
And how you dispensed with that information just now? Like, no, she's gone. She left town. No, she's dead. What?
Yeah, no.
Well, she left the town of life.
Say what?
I said she left the town of life.
Tyler, Tyler.
I mean, it's a shitty situation, but I've dealt with it. You know, it sucks. But...
Yes. Just, I'm coping with it now with how you just gave me that information.
You just shrugged
it.
Like, oh yeah,
no, I'm kind of sitting here like, ow.
I've had 3 years to process it at this point. So.
Yeah. I've had less than 3 minutes at this point. You fucker. Yeah, I know she killed herself. Motherfucker.
It was weird because speaking of death, it was weird when my roommate died. Because I'll be honest, I didn't like the dude, but like I was being respectful to like everybody who knew him. And I was like, yeah, he went out in this way, and I let them process it. But internally, I'm just like, fucking dickbag.
It's in the back.
Dickbag.
Like with you, Aaron, I told you, and then you were like, you were going through it, you were processing it. I just told somebody else recently. He just moved out, and he's like, "Oh shit, I really like that guy." And I'm like, "All right, I'll let you go on in your liking of him."
Yeah, well, I had a very
it's like I want to be respectful to them.
Well, I had
if they really liked it.
I had and still have a very idealistic version of him in my head, but I'm not disregarding like the shit you told me. I was like, well, that is a large list of shitty moves there, bud.
Well, it's not shit that you've experienced firsthand, so it's like you're just hearing what I'm saying.
I have my own very shitty like best friends that have turned out to betray core values that I thought we shared, i.e. respect and truth seeking, and so I hear you and I go, no, that's entirely valid, and I would.
I mean, and I get it too. I found out via Facebook.
Why do I still have the Avengers script up? Sorry.
I don't know. But like, no, I get what you're saying, Tyler, because like, I found out on Facebook a few days ago, because my family doesn't tell me shit, that my brother's gonna have surgery in like another 2 weeks because he's been fighting cancer for about 1.5 years now. And like, there's part of me that is like just super shaken up about it, and then there's another part of me that's just like, yeah, but he's a fucking asshole.
Oh yeah.
That is my exact feelings.
It's like he's my own brother, and like I've cried on multiple occasions over this because it's just shocking, but at the same time, like I've been worried about his well-being and how okay he's going to be with being an adult since I was like 10, because he was just not a good child and he was not a good brother. And it's like he's a little bit better now, but he's still just, I don't really like anybody in my family. So I get having that, like, this is my family, and I feel that way. Like, I can resonate with you feeling that way about somebody else.
Because it's like,
I get it.
A friend of mine introduced him, and he's like, he needed a place. I'm like, all right, I'll let him stay. I didn't know the guy, but I'm like, whatever. If you trust him, I trust him. That was a fucking mistake. But it's just like when it happened, when I got told, I'm like, bullshit, you're fucking with me because you know I don't like the guy. But I'm like, no. Like, as I found out at work, I was at work, I was at my desk, and I got a text, and I'm like, bullshit, no. But then I'm like, once they started describing how it happened, I'm like,
fuck.
That was the way he was going to go. That was the way.
Yeah.
It's shitty, but that was the way it was going to happen.
The context is that like Super Bowl weekend, and he's a motorbike guy.
Yeah, so it's like it makes sense.
Yeah.
To your point, Maurl, though, family is more about the people we choose than who you're born to.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and that's something very difficult for me because I grew up Southern Christian Bible Belt.
Yeah, very,
my mother's from West Kentucky, okay?
Ooh.
So like the family tie expectations here, the conditioning that I've grown up with, like I borderline hate one of my sisters because she has been an asshole to me my entire life.
Yeah.
Like she teased me for the manga that I would read in high school. And I found out like 2-3 years ago that she actually, after teasing me and making me feel like I was childish for liking the different manga that I would read, she would go and read them on her own by herself and enjoy them, and then again make fun of me the next time I was talking about one of the manga I was reading.
Yeah, well, your family has a circle of pathology there, basically.
Yeah.
Basically. And like, I was reading something earlier today that it's like cycle breakers are like people who break cycles inside their families, like those are the powerful people. And like I have worked so fucking hard to break the cycle I was born into, but like it's going to take a lifetime. It's going to take a lifetime to break down the shit that they did to me. And I mean, I actively go to counseling, so like I'm working on it, but it's just I'm a social person, but I'm an introvert, and I have social anxiety, so making friends is really difficult for me. The only reason I am here right now is because Will introduced me to multiple people that are sitting here, including Aaron. And like,
we had a really good introduction as well because we were both big lovers of Redwall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Redwall, archery. Oof.
Well, we like kicked everyone out of the fucking fire pit at that point in the night. Like, and it was so windy and cold. Everyone just bitched out and went to my living room. But we're still sitting out there, like going the fuck at it, trying to recall everything we can about Redwall. Tico shows up, chills out with us. He's like, no, we're fine out here because he's big enough to eat my house, and and he's like, no, we're fucking good. Who's being bitches about this shit?
They were.
And I think
despite how mad or not I am at Will at the moment, in Will's defense, he is diabetic.
Yeah. But he also made bad decisions.
So Will's the only one that didn't bitch out. Everyone else bitched out.
Yeah. But I've recognized that there are a lot. I don't know if it's a pattern. I have a pattern of finding interesting people, as I might call them. But I'm also identifying there are a lot of people that I have either befriended or I recognize, at least for one person, I have a significant expectation of his son, who's only like 9 right now. There are certain people that right now their calling in life is to be the pattern breaker in their families, in the history of their families, whether it's chemical or otherwise. And I kind of identify with that as well, at least in regards to how both sides of my family work, mom and dad's side. So yeah, I resonate with your recognition of needing to break cycles. I think that's kind of what ends up birthing normal families. And there's something funny about those that live in tragic situations that become creatives, is that they actually end up wanting to be normal more than they'll ever admit. Because there's actually the healthiest lives are actually led in those normal lives. And you don't exactly need tragedy to be artistic. You need to be open-minded enough and also aware enough of the tragedy of human existence to reach those depths.
Yeah.
You don't exactly need to find a tragedy in your garage to go crazy.
Admittedly, this comment may open a can of worms, but screw him. No, just on your comment of artists who grow up in, or people who grow up in families that like tragic families that become artists and like that desire to be normal. Like that is something I've always really struggled with because like I grew up like with all these grand plans for my life and all these goals. But deep down inside, like I kind of wanted my own family and I kind of wanted to settle down and just have a normal life. But I felt like I couldn't. But being with Will actually like grounds that a little bit more.
Yeah.
So like I get that. I get that. I would definitely agree with it.
The greatest challenge you could ever give someone is like, look at the horribleness of your family, and you're now responsible for fixing every piece of it.
Ha!
Yeah.
Most people, at least as we identify, most people we look at can't even handle challenges of stabilizing their life, period.
Yeah.
So, it's good fun.
And they have the gall to think they can start a family and without patience and just...
Sex is much easier than responsibility.
Yeah.
Honestly, said sister, I mentioned, because I have 3. So
3-sided coin flip, you'll never know.
Right? So it's like said sister I've mentioned, not the other 2 I haven't.
Still
I know she's married and she has like wanted kids for a few years now and has just settled for getting like a dog and 3 cats. And I'm just sitting here like, that bitch gets pregnant. We're having a sit down talk about the things she is not allowed to do to her child. Like, I'm literally going to sit down and be like, look, you have no fucking idea how much you fucked me up as a kid because of what you said and how you treated my interests and my likes and my dislikes. And if you do this to your own child, and I know you will because you don't realize you did it, like, we're going to have a problem. Like, I cannot imagine that woman having children. They're going to be so fucked.
This is kind of where I've always had a narrative in my mind where I don't... Like, people are like, well, you can't just have, you know, kids in the neighborhood, like, move into your house or something like that. I'm just like, bullshit. Because, like,
that's
if it's very clear to me and the rest of the neighborhood, at least, it's like, no. I'm going to look at your 9-year-old and say, you have a choice to make. You have a bigger choice than you should have to make right now. You have the spare bedroom in my house, or you go back. And if you make one of those choices, the house will always be open here, but you need to make a choice. And if you make another choice, they're going to have to figure out a really tough way to beat me in court. And I don't challenge anyone to do that, because I will either find the damnedest lawyer or I will find a mediocre lawyer and I will kick his ass in. It's like, no, we're gonna break this down. We're gonna break this down, and the 9-year-old's going to be prepped by me. It's like, no, you're gonna be prepped by me and my significant other, and you either need to be ready to overcome your parents at an age you should not be having to do that, or you are going to choose to put yourself in a dire situation because you have to make a horrible situation. You are in a shit situation at 9. And you're going to have to figure out what dice roll you're going to have to go with here, kid.
Yeah. Well, if it helps, the child has my sword.
No, it gets my blood
and
boiling.
My knife.
I shall continue.
And my
disarray of weapons. And my disarray of weaponry.
Do you not need my help with opening garage? I think the storm has passed mostly. Did you just hang out at Outback this whole time? Yeah. Okay.
But it gets my blood boiling when parents just, they treat their kid like property, or they treat their kid like it's not a person. And it's just like that your kid's going to get fucked up because of that, because you're trying to form this kid in your image because you think they should be exactly like that. That's a problem because there's 2 people involved in that. There's the father and there's the mother. So which is the kid going to be like? And then that's going to be a fucking fight right there. And it's just like, you should be this way. It's just like, okay,
well, I have a problem.
You have to take the responsibility, and you have to teach them to be that way. They can't just come that way. You can't put me in a microwave and expect me to be that way. You have to, like, put in the effort and patience to teach them that way.
Well, I think there's a certain point now where there's actually been enough psychology and cultural study done that there's a proper way to raise children. in a very like broad sense, so to speak. And
no, there
like,
very much is nowadays.
And that's where I'm getting to the point where I'm very tired of even myself. But the idea is like, are you telling me how to raise my kids? And I'm ready, in my gullest of moments, to go like, yeah. Because as of right now, I don't like your child. And if I, as an adult, a 28-year-old adult, don't like your 2-year-old, I am not going to be interested in teaching them anything. You are setting up your child to be unlikable, and therefore no one will teach them, and they will fail, and they will reject the world, and they will shoot up a school. They will shoot up something in their own rejection because you have chosen to not be a parent and raise a child.
Yeah, there is so much study done nowadays, like on just the psychology of children versus adults, and on how children process things, and how different children with different, neurodivergent, is that what it's called? Perhaps. Like when a child just is like, I'm quite neurodivergent. Like one of the reasons why I don't really like my family is like I'm just different than them, and I'm not saying that. My mother told me that I am like different. Like my mom said a bunch of shit to me, but like one of the things that she's like, Laura, you were just always so different from the rest of your siblings. I never really knew what to do with you. And I'm like, great.
Yeah.
Okay. And like there were times where she's like, oh yeah, and like even your grandmother noticed and would make comments about it, about how you're just so independent and you're so different from the rest of everyone else in the family. So like I'm straight up neurodivergent as far as my family goes. I don't have any like diagnosis for anything, but like there are ways to treat neurodivergent children, and there's studies on this. And so like it drives me up a wall when people don't recognize this and they think that their parenting is correct simply because they are the parent.
Well, no, I really hate that appeal to authority. Like appeal to authority works when you're qualified to make that appeal, but when you did nothing with your life, when you didn't raise a good family, when you have nothing to qualify your authority as a parent, it's just like, if you don't make yourself respectable, I'm not going to respect you. Like, it's not because I'm an asshole, it's because you need to command authority. If you're not doing that, if you just say, I am the mother and you need to listen to me, that's not a qualifying thing for a kid. You have to give them a reason to respect you.
Well, a great line, I think, Tyler, you've probably heard this if you listen to his biblical series. Jordan Peterson makes a very good point in that parents are really bad about raising their kids so they want to be friends with their kids because they're actually very scared of their kids. They're very scared because they don't understand their kids. And it's like, it's kind of where I appreciate, I have a coworker, we'll call him Jeff. Fuck it, whatever. But Jeff is a very crude, robust, but it's one of those where I've learned what a good man looks like, and he's a good man, but he has a lot of lifestyle pieces that are very rough, gruff, and he's not the kind of person you invite to a nice dinner. But I look at him and go, kids like you. And he's like, yeah, because either they can talk to me, and I'll talk straight to them like I would an adult, but if you mumble and bumble, I got no use for you. And I was like, yeah, you talk straight. You speak honestly. Like, he's not the white knight like I try to be and just pursuing truth. He just lives truth in his life, and it's nothing noble or dramatic or anything like that. It's just
just the way it is.
He's a straight shooter. He's a blue collar dude who I don't even graduated high school, has his own history of bullshit and craziness, and there's something to be said about getting so comfortable that you don't have the calloused hands to raise people. And that's where I think certain things have me leaning towards, or at least choosing to associate or get more things from the conservative side of at least the political spectrum to balance things out, because of I would almost say I could probably identify myself with like two of my cousins as black sheep of the family. But that's just maybe I'm very clear black sheep, period, because I'm so incredibly analytical, and neither of my parents were anywhere near that. Both of my parents were effectively blue-collar, Christian background individuals, and while I got and appreciate like the Christian roots I was raised on, I had nothing but why running through my head, and I think that has become one of my great strengths for many reasons. But it's also what has led me to ask why for so long, that I've been looking for very core reasons as to why anything is right, from my own decisions and words I choose to the Constitution to why even the Bible should be taken seriously. And a lot of the things that I've at least found or researched have kind of validated, like, even things that were clearly stated as this should be held very highly. And it's like, well, this should be held very highly. It's just unfortunately certain apparatus that treat this as a central document are so soft about truth. Because truth is what I anchored myself on in high school when I was in the midst of a very horrible stepfather situation. Truth became my important thing. And it's led me to the point I was like, no, I believe and would hold as a very firm truth that the Bible is the most important document in human history. It's just very unfortunate that a lot of the religious apparatus that surround it right now don't even understand the amount of even psychological truth that is brought out of it inside of even like the first book.
Actually, the weirdest thing with a lot of my family is what ended up solidifying my position as a black sheep in that family. I mean, I was already heading in that direction, but what really solidified me in it is I actually started reading more and more of the Bible, which started pushing me further and further from them. Despite like being a conservative background, there are very few people I could actually have that kind of conversation with, a biblical conversation with. It was my grandfather and like a few others, while everyone else is like, I don't get why you are trying to understand. I'm like, okay, you say you're a Christian, you say you follow this, but you don't read the damn book. What the fuck? Like, there could be like somewhere in there that you don't agree with, but because you didn't read the book, you terms and service agreement that shit, and you just say, yeah, I believe in this. It's just like, okay, let me go through all the things you don't do that you say you agree with. Like, those are like the pedantic examples, but it's just like, at least look into the historical context of it, look into why it was written the way it was and how it got to be where it was, and then you could have a better understanding of what you believe. And then eventually, as far as religion goes, like, I no longer ascribe to that authority of, I might to a degree, but I'm not like devout about it. I consider it valid, but I don't think it's the only valid branch of authority when it comes to morality, and you know what I'm saying, though.
No, absolutely.
I'll hand this off to you real quick, Maurl. It's that I think Tyler, just because him and I have also gotten our intake of Jordan, is that Tyler's reaching for a higher ideal, and it's just the act of persistently reaching towards a higher ideal is far more important than trying to be able to articulate like an absolute, ethic or moral code per se. And that's a very critical thing that even I think if I follow the Jordan B. Peterson IG, he actually put out a story that's a very simple breakdown. But I think that's basically what you're trying to say there, Tyler. Maurl?
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, like, I mean, as far as the pursuit of truth, like the Christianity or the I don't want to say the breed of Christianity, but the breed of Christianity I grew up with
You're fair to say that. I've heard very crazy
things
from
branch, denomination.
A breed. No, not even branch, not denomination. No, just a straight up breed. It's a Southern Christian Bible Belt, middle of nowhere, type of Christianity where like you are allowed to have questions, but you also have to be okay with not having answers. And like instilled from a young age, like one of the things that, because I no longer really subscribe to that faith either. Not even really. I don't subscribe to that faith anymore. But one of the biggest reasons why was I was taught and raised to be able to accept that some questions don't have answers. So when I hit major depression when I was 18 and had to start going through everything in my life and really deciding what mattered and what didn't, the question of, does God exist? Well, I mean, do I have to know the answer to that question? Because I've been raised in such a way that I don't need the answers. And so that's something I fight against. But at the same time, like when everything hit, it kind of just became I don't care. Not anymore. And I'll find the answer someday, but as long as I'm pursuing what is right and what is good, then I don't think that I need to be subscribing to a very specific like God. And I will not tell you that God doesn't exist. He might. Very much so. He also might not. I'm not going to tell you that he does. And like I'm pretty much just like I'm okay with still pursuing truth and still looking for it. I don't need to know the answers right now, as long as like there is still an open discussion of the possibilities. And like the teachings of the Bible are so pure for the most part. Like they're very valuable. It's just the breed of Christianity that's taken root in America that is intrinsically tied with white supremacy is just heartbreaking.
Yeah.
It's a very complex thing that we can't. I don't think anyone, even the combined intelligences that are in here, can really well break down.
No, my brother could give you more because he just graduated from Christian university.
That'd be a very fascinating thing, because I currently have a very big fandom just because I have no authority. But listening to Jordan B. Peterson's breakdown of at least a psychological analysis of the biblical series, and all he's gotten through so far is Genesis, it was so fascinating and engaging and like such a critical hit, because he approaches it with an evolutionary, biological, and psychological thing. He doesn't leave his field as being a psychologist and a professor of Toronto and a clinician. And so it's fascinating to see him take ancient cultures, ancient history from Mesopotamia, from Egypt, provide the context that makes the parables or whatnot more relevant, more valuable. And he's using references out the wazoo to, because as when Melanie and I were pitching this to a good set of friends of ours, they're like, "Oh, is he a very charismatic speaker?" And it's like, no. Like anyone that's listened to Jordan is like, Jordan is not a charismatic speaker. He's actually perpetually learning as he's speaking. He's thinking out loud, and his engagement with the audience is so very clear that it's like I'm talking to you and registering with you to figure out if what I'm saying is one making sense to your intuition, to the spirit that's inside you, to like carry this forward. And his level of analysis, like I would recommend the series to anyone that is having a critique of modern Christianity. And it's like, this is what makes the Bible invaluable. And it needs to be,
it sounds very, very compelling.
It's I can't stop listening to it. I've listened to the entire and it's like 2 to 3 hour, more like 2 hour episodes per, and it's about 12 to 13 episodes long. It's on his YouTube account, but he has there's one extra one that I would add on to the very end, and it's where he answers the critical question that he was labored with for a few years of, do you believe in God? And his usual answer goes between none of your business and what do you even mean by that? Like, are we even talking about the same thing? Because his level of analysis is like N times level more than even mine. Because I'd love to go for a PhD and actually have that level of execution on research, on, forming a document and stuff like that. But I just don't trust I don't trust any collegiate university system at this time, because it's so leftist and
there's a lot of bias
it's so leftist, neo-Marxist, postmodernity and stuff like that, and so focused on things that it's not seeking truth. And so I'm not here to tear apart anyone trying to figure out their damn life, but I'm not about to succumb to this anti-free speech bullshit or try to succumb to systems that are either made up since the 50s or are trying to usurp systems that are, or systems or things that have worked and have brought the world, frankly, out of poverty, and not properly approach the problem and recognize that, like, the reason why we have certain leaders in play, or the reason we have these corrupt systems, it's like it has nothing to do with the hammer that's being used. It has everything to do with the culture that's behind the swinging of the hammer. And that's a greater thing. So when Jordan jumps down these roads as someone who tried to cement their faith further with fact, but then has just not been able to find enough fact to cement it and thus became more mush, it's now made me look at modern Christianity and gone, you're not even doing this close to right now because you're too scared to lose your money. Like, I am very prepared to go up amateurly and speak in front of old congregations or other congregations. Like, either you're going to let me speak this properly or I'm going to start pitching tents out in your fields right now, because at this point you should be pitching tents as well if you're going to speak the truth to your congregation about what the fuck they should be doing. Because as of right now, the Christianity that I was brought up on, which was much more obviously nicer than yours, isn't even approaching the true integration of science as it is in terms of even old Earth. And I follow Crowder and whatnot, which is great, but they believe in young Earth, and that's the only thing that I would separate with them on. If you're going to incorporate science properly, you need to be going deeper. And when you're trying to have any of this, when I hear your culture, when your breed of Christianity speaking like some questions don't have answers, that's true, but I sense that you are refusing to answer questions because you're not choosing to accept certain truths that are actually in play and are rooted so hard right now that, like, one of the biggest things that have influenced me in understanding the raising of children is that parents have the first 4 years of raising their child to have any significant impact on that child and to make them likable. And after that, the child begins the integration of their own life into the greater society, and it peaks at most in the teenage years. That's at least the most emotionally distraught point, because at that point they should almost be kicked out because they're so rebellious at the time because of hormones and all that reason. So it's like, guess what? You have the first 4 years as parents to nail down the best behavioral and socializing patterns of this child, or this kid's fucked. Period. Like, that is, there is science and stats behind that. This child is fucked. And if that is not well integrated, and if these core truths of ethics and morals aren't properly integrated into how we are agreeing and going forward as a culture, then we go into where there is no truth, there is no king in Jerusalem, and everyone does as they does, and everyone has their own truth, and nothing matters. Nothing matters. There is no hierarchy. We've destroyed the hierarchy. Nothing is good, nothing is quality, and nothing matters, and now everyone can just be trash. And that's my rant.
The one thing with just religion in general, not against religion itself, more of the practice of it, I look at what the people will do, what the people who practice religion do, and if that's basically causing you to harm others inadvertently or purposely, that's probably not something you should be ascribing to. You should be ascribing to a truth that leads you to do good things for a lot of people. Just genuinely for the betterment of society, because if your version of the truth is causing you to reach out and harm others under the name of this idea that you have, you shouldn't be doing. Like, I think we could agree, you shouldn't be killing people because God told you to. You shouldn't be taking people's money away because God told you to. Like, that's not a thing of good, because
then you're a murderer.
God in German, I think it's in German, but God means good in a lot of languages.
Yeah, good is based, or God be with you, actually, in the breakdown of how it evolved in English writing, I believe. God be with you was the original signature send-off, and that eventually got shortened down to goodbye. So good in a root in the English Germanic language tree is actually God, or to be God.
So if you're not doing something that is of that nature,
as a linguist, yes, we'll confirm that.
It is confirmed. So
confirmed.
We studied about it in our history of the English language class.
It was funny because my friend who just doesn't study in a class, but he just studies it on his own leisure, he basically told me that, and I'm like, that probably sounds legitimate. So it's funny that you confirmed that. I don't have any confirmation myself, so that's why I'm like, I'm not gonna say this is the truth if I don't exactly know it. But if it's not,
because they actually shorted it to GB double or GBY, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, God be with you. So GBWY, it like just became a goodbye instead of. That is because they acronymized it.
Literally the
That's
meme version.
Funny.
Literally the meme.
It's what we've done now, where we're starting to say LMAO and shit like that.
Well, okay, so here's
exactly. That's why it's because they acronymized it, and it literally just pronounces goodbye.
Yeah. Well, that's even funnier because it just reminded me specifically of this YouTube creator, Magikarp Use Fly, Matt Castro out in California, who's done a lot of League content. He's done the actual champion spotlights, which are hilarious, legit breakdowns of League of Legends champions. Ivern is the best.
I've seen
one of his sign-offs is goodbye, and I'm just like, that's literally the phonetic verbal version of the send-off in ancient linguistic history of English of English, which is just fucking great.
But if you're going with an idea,
I need a cigar. I'm about to take my.
But if you're going with an idea and it's not causing you to help others, like that shouldn't be something you're pursuing. Like,
I think.
I mean, it's either neutral or it is something you shouldn't be pursuing. Because I mean, if you're doing an idea and it doesn't hurt anyone, but it doesn't do anything bad, then
that's fine.
Yeah,
whatever.
That's almost following a silence is deadly. It's like either you're a bystander to a tragedy and you're just sitting there watching, or you are actively helping or hurting. Like, you get to sit in 3 positions, but unfortunately 2 of them lean to one side, and that's the negative side. Like you're just helping the situation, basically. It's the bystander effect with the rape case in New York, where plenty of people were awake at that hour. It wasn't that it was early in the night, and the woman is calling being raped, and plenty of people heard it, but no one replied.
No one did it.
See, that is hurting somebody, though.
Yes, but they are
action.
They can claim the neutral stance. They can claim the neutral stance
by choosing the neutral stance.
They can't go. Because the action that they took, which was inaction, directly led to somebody being hurt.
The challenge I will give you, Aaron, is if you are going to choose to play a neutral stance that is unimpactful, your hypothetical will become so far removed from reality that it's not realistic to hold that neutral
my
stance.
example is more referring to you start a fire in the woods for no other reason than to cook food. That's not good or bad.
Your initial premise, your initial intent is good, and there's a non-malicious element of the accident that leads to the forest getting burned down.
Oh, I'm not talking about the forest being burned down.
Okay.
He's just saying a neutral action would be starting a fire in the middle of the forest for no other intent than to cook food. It's not a
I'm
neutral.
not talking about burning the forest down. I mean, cutting.
It's literally a small fire.
Yeah,
that has no negative or positive effect.
Or if you want to go home every night.
I diverted.
Yeah. Or if you want to go home every night and just have Taco Bell and play Xbox, like, that's not hurting anybody. That's on you.
When did we start talking about Billy?
When did we talk about the Baja Blast boy?
Can we clarify, like, outside of like the podcast tonight, Maurl, have you met Billy?
No.
Okay, so everyone else here.
I've not met Sam either.
Well, hi.
Hi, Sam.
Hi.
Nice to meet you, Sam.
Yeah.
You too.
When you first came on screen, I was like, "Ooh, she has short hair like me." Except I'm growing mine out because Will has never seen my hair long, and I used to have hair that reached my hips. So
yeah, you look like
I have long hair.
Okay, I have to laugh at that. Not at like the idea of you having long hair. I'm laughing because Melanie loves long hair situations, but when she has tried to grow her hair very long, like that kind of long, it'll get to where it's getting in her butt crack, like when she showers or whatnot. And she has so many.
You literally have to the last thing you do after you get out of the shower is you have to clean your butt crack of hair. The last thing you do before you get out of the shower with hair that long is clean your butt crack because it's there.
Yeah.
Because all of the hair comes loose as you're washing, like any of the hair that got stuck, and it just kind of like slides slowly down your body, and most of it goes down the drain, and then you have to clean that later. But there's always just this like tiny rat's nest of hair that you have to pull out. It's terrible.
I noticed that with my own hair. Hair just started falling out randomly. It's not long. It's longer than normal, but it's not like...
The longer your hair is, the easier it is to notice.
Yeah.
When I had really long hair, I would notice my hair falling out all the time. But now that I have short hair, I notice it almost never. So it's literally just your hair is longer, so you're noticing versus short hair don't care.
Yeah.
I dead ass have found strands of my hair betwixt my thighs, and I'm like, why are you there? You are tickling my taint for what reason?
My favorite is when you're pulling, and it's like, okay, it's like a tiny hair. No, it's this long thread. And I'm like, am I Spider-Man? What the fuck is that thing?
Yeah, because somehow it's longer than your fucking regular hair, and you're like, did you melt together betwixt my cheeks?
Historically for me, the only reason I find long hair anywhere in my living or car quarters is like, oh, the remnants of my ex has not left my life yet. It's the only history I have. Is like, yeah, I've been in a relationship recently. There's long hair like running around in my laundry in my car. And now it's just a permanent fixture in my life. There are certain clothes that wore my sweaters or wore my shirts. I no longer identify with them because she wears them.
Yeah, no, dude. The worst thing is when you get a long hair that gets stuck in the wash and then it doesn't break easy for some godforsaken reason and it just wraps around your clothes. When you're pulling it out, you have to break this hair apart in pieces because your clothes are all bunched together. And you're just like,
how did this one hair possess the strength of iron?
Literally.
To buy my shirts.
It's like that.
Shorts.
It's the scene in Hercules when they're trying to snip the cord for Hercules, and it suddenly becomes unsnippable.
I would try to display this right now, but I'm pretty sure I'd cut my finger off. And I'm too sober.
Instead of using grocery bags,
I have had one golden monkey, and I paced it well enough that I'm not unserviceable. We'll call it that.
Touché.
Oh, Tyler, I think by all records, we're probably just going to trash everything about tonight that wasn't this podcast. You can do whatever the fuck you want, but everything that was Avengers-wise...
Oh, no, don't worry about it. Yeah,
I am recycling that bin, bitch.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
Nothing came out of it, so...
Yeah.
No.
Kind of wish Evan didn't leave. It's like, hey, Evan, get back in here. We're not really doing it.
He's over in the other Discord right now, actually, I would bet.
But that would make this podcast go on much longer.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's for the Biscuit Bitch. That's what he's called over in the other Discord, the Biscuit Bitch.
I'm not even surprised.
Right.
Sam, you heard that story, right?
I don't know.
He's called the Biscuit Bitch?
No, I haven't. Think I heard that. I haven't heard that one.
I'll let him tell you it.
I was going to say, that's a story to tell when he's in chat, though.
Yeah, let him tell it. I think the definition...
I wasn't there for it, but it was fucking hilarious what he told me.
I believe the definition of a biscuit bitch for this story, though, just for when it's told in the future. I have yet to... Here's the funny thing. I actually have not had Evan on a podcast, of any of my podcasts, since the beta tests, back when you and him were there for episode 1 of JHP Beta 1.
Oh, God.
Yeah, that's the last time Evan was been on any of my podcasts.
Oh.
And
he wasn't on the Halloween one?
No, well, that one I treat as whatever. That's the October annual. That was JHP, but that'll be turned into the P2 annual podcast, where this room gets converted into a podcast room, and I will actually enforce the system that I wanted, where people sit down for 30 minutes to an hour, and then the bell rings and people rotate.
Just install a little bell.
Something like that. Bell. Just I've got a spare iPhone around here somewhere, and I just here's when this thing goes off. If you're in the middle of a good thing, cut it. If not, yeet other people in here.
What you do is you put a little red light from Spencer's and do the little siren woo. You're done.
I don't need to be too.
Tell them if they don't do it, they don't get their goddamn pizza rolls.
I want to put them in a fridge full of cock.
I actually have to go because I'm starving.
Well,
yeah,
we're at 2:13. We can call it here.
No, we're at for a while.
Yeah,
Maurl, we've always lovely to see your face, Sammy. I've met you before, right?
At least 3 times.
She auditioned the other day.
Table read. That's what you were there for. That's for you too, man.
Yeah, Sammy auditioned the other day, didn't she?
She did.
for Fandub, or is that that's another one? Is that another Sammy?
No, that's a different Sammy.
Okay, there's two. Oh gosh.
Yeah, because I remember you from when I was the evil bitch.
But I didn't have a chance because I was working.
No.
So...
I told that Sammy that Melanie and I missed her, thinking that it was you. And this woman probably has no idea. Can you message her and let her know that
I know you can get there? It's like, well, I'm not my me, but who the fuck is this?
That's awkward as shit.
Yeah.
I thought it was you.
It was no. Before you got on, when you were taking fucking forever to get here, I went down and changed. I went down and found the Sammy or whatnot because that's kind of her name in the fucking Lady Sammy is her current name in the P2 Discord, and I was like, well, she's got that, and I gave her the role to be able to get into this area of the Discord, and then you're like, hey, I can't get into the P2, and you're Akko Taco or whatnot. I'm just like, oh no.
What have I done? Anyways, you were there when we were doing the room read, and I was the evil bitch.
Yeah, you took Brittany's role. Yeah. Dang.
I'm Brittany, bitch.
I had a totally different... Sammy, I'm going to have to retract some respect that I've given to you and you didn't know because I thought you were trying out for shit that we were working on, and now I found out it's this other person that I have unfortunately...
I know, and I was going to do it, but I had to work, and I felt that. Because work decided to open.
All right,
well,
I gotta go.
Have yet to try out. I'm busy until Sunday, but bye, Aaron.
We'll see you on Sunday. Peace.
Bye, everyone.
Sunday.